Okay, this is great news. The Connecticut Supreme Court women-only gym sections violate state discrimination laws. Fantastic. And you know why this happened is because two men complained. All you guys who want to do nothing and just let the world get worse. This is all you need to do, the minimal amount of legwork. Complain. And if you have to hire a lawyer, even if it's just a few $100s to say, look, just register this complaint for me. What these guys are doing is they're holding the average woman to their own bullshit narrative of gender equality. Now, look, Hartford, Connecticut, women only exercise gym areas and gyms and fitness clubs violate a state law banning discrimination against based on gender. The Connecticut Supreme Court ruled Tuesday. Wow, the court system actually worked. A 6-0 decision written by Chief Justice Richard Robertson overturned a lower court ruling that an early decision by a state human rights official. The case involved two men, there you go, who complained about women only exercise areas at two gyms, at Edge Fitness Club in Stratford and Club Fitness in Bloomfield. See what I'm saying, guys? That's all they took. And you know what it was? Because these women-only sections, men were lining up. And look, these sections were just basically sitting bare. The case drew high interest from a variety of advocacy groups that submitted briefs to the court. Now, religious groups said separate workout areas are important for women whose religious beliefs that bar them from exercising in front of men. I don't give a shit about these religious people because men's religion won't be able to do the same thing. A group of men couldn't say it's my religious beliefs that we have to work with women, and therefore you have to make them. It wouldn't work that way. Other groups, including the GLBTQ, well, they switched the L and the G. Advocates and defenders said that such gender exemptions could lead to unintended consequences. See, this is why I don't trust the GLBT, because they don't have men's interest at heart. Guess what? It's all going to be that there's these trans women were showing up, wanted to work out with the girls, and they didn't pass as women. And so these women complained and got them booted. So they don't care that it's not right. They just want their particular group to be included. It can lead to unintended consequences and have been used to discriminate against lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer people. Haha. Yeah. Because if the women don't want men ogling them, a lot of them don't want lesbian women ogling them either. Right? Several questions arose. Should women be protected from the ogling of men? Women are not in danger of men's ogling. They're just going to put up with it. That's what men should be saying. You're just going to put up with it. This is a shared space. They believe are objectifying them. And we all know objectifying is just an attack term for men. Do women only workout areas discriminate against men who have to wait in line to use equipment in the general public area? The answer is, of course, yes. It's absolutely. There's no reason for men to be waiting in line and looking at machines that are just sitting empty because they're for women only. Should lesbian women be barred from the women-only areas because they might objectify women? Yeah, so of course, there was probably some straight woman who saw some lesbian ogling her, and she didn't want her looking at her. As much as women dislike men, straight women probably aren't interested in being ogled by, lesbians, especially if those lesbians themselves are unattractive. And so again, that's why I don't care about the GLBT, because they're not fighting for a principle. They're not fighting for any kind of equality. They just want their people in, and they would still discriminate against men. Now, in the ruling, Robinson wrote that there are no implied customer gender privacy exception to the ban against gender-based discrimination in the state's Public Accommodation Act. The two gyms that are defendants in the case argued there was such an exception. So the gyms are actually arguing for, the segregation, right? State law exempts bathrooms, sleeping areas, and locker rooms from anti-gender discrimination laws, but doesn't specifically mention female-only workouts areas. The reading of the law to imply gender privacy exemption, although presumably to benefit women, of course, it's always to benefit women, right? Could also negatively affect the rights of women in different ways. See, this is something, guys, this is why an MMRM is needed. These two guys who complained, they're just holding these people to their standards. But you see, everything they're doing is they're only holding it up because it's only women in mind. They're only worried about it impacting them negative, like finally coming out to bite them on their ass. Such an exception could be invoked to exclude women based on the privacy interest of men and could justify discrimination against transgender individuals because some customers, due to modesty, find it uncomfortably to be around such people. Yes, the customers this is female only, right? So who are the customers, everyone? They're women. So women find transgendered women disgusting and they want them out. And so these men, even though they did the right thing and complained, they're only really being heard, I believe, is because the GLBT put their hats into the ring, right? Now look at this. Mario Borelli, a lawyer for Club Fitness, said he was disappointed with the court's ruling. See, he was disappointed that these people were held to their principles that they supposedly hold. I have nothing but contempt for this guy. He said it was too early to say whether there will be an appeal to the federal court case. I won't read the whole thing, but this one's important too. Ben Klein, attorney for the GLBT, Legal Advocates and Defenders, known as GLAD, said his organization doesn't have a position on women-only workout areas. Wow. But opposes a gender privacy rule that could unintentionally discriminate based on gender in other instances. So they don't have a problem with the workout areas, but they want to make sure these trans women go into the women's bathrooms. And the irony is there's so much more intimacy in the women's changing rooms and bathrooms than workout areas. There's absolutely no reason, none, for women to have separate workout areas. If they're uncomfortable with men, stay away. That's what men should be saying. There should, there should be a productive MRM that have men coming out and saying this in public in large numbers. If you don't feel comfortable around men, you stay away. We're not making extra spaces for you. Just like if you have a bunch of white nationalists going to the gym, they can't say about Black men or Asian men or Hispanic men, we don't want to be around these people. I feel uncomfortable around these people, so I want a white-only working area. And just as men can't get away with that, these people can't get away from it. These women shouldn't be able to get away with this. Yeah, this is the last one. This is how disgusting these people are. The gym operator has to do his level best to stop discrimination in the form of harassment. See, these men taking a look at women, they're harassing them. It can't just say, oh, well, the solution is we're going to make a workout space for people who are being harassed. These women aren't being harassed. They don't like men. Like I said, they can stay the hell away. They can build their own. You could have a woman building their own. No, I did take that away. Men aren't allowed to build their own gyms. So women aren't allowed to build their own gyms. They could make, if you've got someone who wants to make a female-only gym, I'm fine with it as long as men are able to do the same. That's it. Anyway, I'll put this article in the description box and you guys can read it for yourselves. But good news, I'll end it with this. These people are being held to their standards. And like I say, you'll need an active MRM because what's going to happen, they're only going to be allowed themselves to be held by these standards for so long. and then they'll work to change the legal system or use the legal system to change the rules again. So this is the way it is.